As a healthcare worker, it's not unusual to see people coping with emotions such as sadness, anger, and frustration. But when emotional stress escalates into threatening behavior, you need to know how to act. The Texas Health Code Silver policy provides guidelines for decision-making and actions to be taken during an active threat, such as a person with a weapon, a hostage situation, or an active shooter event. This video is intended to give you a general overview of how to respond in these situations to provide a safe and secure environment for patients, employees, and visitors. You are not expected to engage the hostile person. Rely on police assistance to resolve any active threat involving a person with a weapon, a hostage situation, or an active shooter event. In the event of a hostage or active shooter situation, an overhead page will be made using clear and concise language. Code Silver will be announced, followed by the situation and the exact location. For example, Code Silver, active shooter, main building, second floor. If you observe a person in the hospital or on campus that is in possession of a weapon, whether the weapon is displayed or not displayed, and the person is not in law enforcement uniform or clearly displaying law enforcement credentials, you should immediately notify security and give the following information. Type of weapon, description and location of person with the weapon, and where the weapon is located on the person or in the person's possession. Then follow the instructions given by security. Do not attempt to follow the person with the weapon. If you are told by a non-employee that there is a person on the property in possession of a weapon, obtain as much information as possible and ask the person to wait with you in order to speak with security. Notify security immediately and give as much information as you have, then follow any instructions given. Do not attempt to locate the person with the weapon. In a hostage situation, stay calm and avoid displays of emotion. Initially, do not speak unless spoken to. Do as you are told. If possible, stay away from windows and doors. Do not argue or make suggestions. Advise the hostage taker of medication or other medical attention you need. Try to rest, but remain facing your captor. If offered release by your captor, leave. Do not suggest that someone else be released instead. Be observant. You may be released. Note the number and location of captors, their weapons, and behavior. Be able to tell rescuers the exact location of the other hostages. Expect various forms of diversions by law enforcement, which may include loud noises and use of lights. If a rescue attempt is made, fall to the floor immediately and stay there. Cover your head with your arms. If you are the first to identify a hostage situation, here are the steps to take. When safe to do so, notify security or 911. Secure the immediate area if possible by removing all patients and personnel as appropriate. Secure doors to isolate the situation. Protect yourself. Observe the scene and immediately begin making notes of what you see and remember, such as the number of hostage takers and types of hostages. Expect to be debriefed on what you heard and saw. In an active shooter situation, you should quickly determine the most reasonable way to protect your own life. Patients and visitors are likely to follow the lead of employees during an active shooter situation. You must use your own discretion during an active shooter event as to whether you can safely retreat from the area or safely remain in place. Active shooter events are highly dynamic, usually over quickly, and can happen anywhere. But there are some basic actions that successful survivor and/or protectors take. First, it's important that you accept that the situation you find yourself in is real and actually happening. Often survivors of active shooter incidents report that the sounds they heard didn't sound like gunshots, probably because real gunshots don't sound like the ones we hear in movies and TV shows. When in doubt, act as if it's real. And if you have visual confirmation, try not to freeze in shock. A firearm in your workplace will be a startling sight. Accept what you see and move to work through your disbelief. Assess the situation. What's going on? Where's the shooter? These are questions you should continue to ask because the situation will likely change second by second. Situational awareness also includes knowing where all the exits are located and if the exits terminate inside the building or directly to the outside. Your survival may depend on whether you have a plan. The plan is simple. You basically have 3 options: run, hide, fight. Run simply means to get as far away from the shooter as you can, especially if it means you'll be able to get help. When you run, do not stop to gather your belongings. It is more important that you get out safely. Encourage others to leave with you, but do not let them slow you down if they are resistant. Hide. If you can't get out safely, you will need to find a safe place to hide and shelter in place. You may need to create a barricade to keep the shooter from reaching you, like hiding in a room and locking or blocking the door. This may be an office, a conference room, or even a bathroom. You need to know which doors in your department have a lock. When hiding in a room, turn off the lights and remember to silence your cell phone. If several people must barricade in the same room, spread out. Do not huddle together. Fight. As a last resort, fight only applies if you find yourself face to face with the shooter, with no way to run or hide, and your life is at risk. Common objects, such as a fire extinguisher, hot coffee, or a chair, can be used as a weapon to fight. If you decide to fight, be committed and follow through with your actions. When safe to do so, call the appropriate emergency response number. If your facility has panic buttons or alarms, use them as quickly as possible. You are a stakeholder in your own survival in a Code Silver situation. Employees should make every reasonable attempt to assist patients and visitors. Prepare to shelter in place by securing patient areas. Remember, be aware of your surroundings and know your exit routes. As a survivor and/or protector, having a plan can make a difference in your survival. If you are in an active shooter event, whether at work or in a public setting, consider your options. Run, hide, fight. When law enforcement arrives, remain calm and follow instructions. Do not ask questions. Put down any items in your hands and keep hands visible at all times. Avoid making quick movements toward officers and do not yell. Do not stop officers to ask for help when evacuating. Just proceed in the direction from which the officers are entering. Law enforcement is not there to care for the wounded. They are there to stop the shooter. The Texas Health Code Silver policy is intended to help you provide a safe and secure environment for patients, visitors, and employees. For more information, contact your entity security officer.